You can have a good salary without motivation. You can have a good enough career without motivation. But can you have truly success, as we define success, without motivation? No.
Athina, you've had over 2 decades of just impressive leadership on your resume, and now you're the executive vice president of PepsiCo. Like, wow. So my question for you is, before we get into how you motivate your employees, how do you motivate yourself?
Well, firstly, thank you, Gabby. So lovely to be with you. Motivating yourself every day is not so easy, especially when you are a working mother. So I find motivation from my boys. I am a lifelong learner, so I love to read a lot. And then through activities, sports activities, I play tennis, and then I play the piano. So this gives me a lot of motivation and gives me a lot of energy. More importantly, what gives me motivation is when I think I'm contributing back to the society and the company.
So what do you think, if you had to pick out of anything, are the 3 most important motivators?
One is you need to make sure you have a very clear mission for you and your team. They need to understand what exactly they have to achieve, what is their scope of work, and how they will achieve it. So give them a mission and give them a vision. The second, they truly need to understand what are their responsibilities. You cannot have gray areas, you cannot have overlap of organizations or org designs or operating models that doesn't give your employees clarity as to what they need to do. And the third one, give them a platform to succeed. Whether it's an opportunity to speak about their ambitions or their type of work and elevate that to the top of the organization, or whether it's a platform of collaboration where they work across teams, cross-functionally, to prove that as a whole they can contribute to the company. And lastly, give them a platform also to fail without being penalized. Because we as executives and as major corporations, it's not always about success. It's always about giving the opportunity of people to fail, but fail fast.
So why is it that you think some employees are motivated and others aren't?
I think every employee wants to be motivated. The underlying human principle is that everyone wants to be successful, everyone wants to give back to their employee or to their society. No one comes with the predisposal, I don't want to be motivated, right? So it's up to the leader, their business manager or the line manager, is to take out the best of the employee through the line of work that they are doing. So a couple of things that I believe should be done. One, give them a voice. Is part of the problem of why people are not motivated is because they are not heard. They are not heard actively. It's not that they don't talk to each other, but no one, or at least this is how they feel, people are not listening to their opinions. The second, give them a platform to showcase their work. Even if you don't go through with their idea, they appreciate the fact that you gave them the opportunity. And the third one is about mentorship. I think a lot of the motivation stems from having someone who ideally is not your line manager, who is not in the same business, that can coach you, can give you advice, can understand, okay, what are those special traits, attributes that you have as a leader, and unlock those.
Are you using the Indeed mobile app? The app is free and makes it easy to apply right from your phone. Click the link below or just search Indeed in the App Store.
Do you think someone's work environment plays into this?
For sure, in 2 ways. Firstly, there is a bit of a distinction between the younger generation and the more mature generation. Let's say I'm putting myself into the more mature segment more and more. Because the younger generation wants flexibility. So if you are inflexible in terms of hybrid working, as an example, they would be totally demotivated and totally disengaged, and most likely you will lose them. So how do you provide motivation with flexibility? Super important. How do you provide vision and also career ambition and trajectory? Super important for that young segment. Purpose. If a company has purpose, it's typically the main reason that this younger generation engages with the company. Then, of course, you have the more mature segment that is motivated also by other things, which is safety and security. The company culture. The company is like a family. Everyone knows each other. Always my advice is, depending on the segment that you belong, depending on your past experiences, depending on your life stage, motivation comes out in very different ways for the people. So you have to read that and therefore adapt also your message.
Can you find success without motivation?
No. I believe you can find, you can have a good salary without motivation. You can have a good enough career without motivation. But can you have truly success, as we define success, without motivation? No. Because a leader who is successful needs to have much other traits besides just delivering to the role. They have to be empathetic. To be successful, you need to understand the bigger picture. So not just what happens within your own little silo, but what happens across the company that influences the lives of other employees that you don't have under your direct control. You have to have diverse thinking. A successful leader predominantly is successful because over-indexes on the human side and not on the business side.
What are some things that we can put into practice to do daily in order to increase our motivation levels at work?
People can have more of a human interaction, definitely helps with motivation. The second thing that you can do is be self-reflective. It's every day, at least this is what I'm trying to do every day before I start working, and saying, okay, what did I do yesterday that I'm super proud of? And maybe one thing that I'm not so proud of. But because I do this self-reflection every day, the next day, de facto, when I realize it, I will go back and say, I apologize. As a leader, you have to find the courage to apologize to your teams. And when they see you doing it, they will also do it to their teams and their teams' teams. So, showing by example is a way to motivate.
And my last question for you is, what is your favorite part of working for PepsiCo?
Oh my God, the people. By far. I wake up, I go to work, and I see happy people around me.
That's wonderful. If you like the tips in this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you next time. And now I'm craving Lay's and Pepsi.
Lay's and Pepsi.